Tonight we're going to just take a look at several ways into this issue of how important and how significant positive emotion is. In fact, if you're not convinced of how important positive emotion is, as we're going to work with positive emotion, you're going to have a very extremely difficult time working with the material in this course. So let me introduce to you my spiral. This is an upward spiral. And if you live in the upward spiral, that's wonderful, because wherever you are in that upward spiral, we hope to take you higher. Now this isn't, you'll notice, an exact spiral. It contains some levels, because we believe that movement into this upward spiral, what we call the up spiral, happens at levels. It happens in gradients. We stay here for a while and something happens and we get to here, and then something else happens and we get to here, and we get up here eventually, and we want to get you up here more steadily to this place where I call feeling good. Our goal is feeling good. This is zone and bliss and ecstasy, and while we can go up that high, we don't so much work on that. We pretty much stay with getting up here to feeling good. We believe that feeling good is probably enough in terms of the work that we do. The good things in life that happen to us happen in this up spiral. This up spiral is all about optimism. It's about seeing things positively. It's about having a good outlook. It's about feeling good. It's about, for sure, it's about health. It's about well-being. It's about life satisfaction. The higher people's scores are in tests of well-being and life satisfaction, the higher they're going to be in this up spiral. There is, however, the opposite of this up spiral. As much as we might want to stay in this up spiral, we're going to find that not only is there some variation in the up spiral, but we haven't really focused much on the fact that there is a down spiral. And this down spiral is characterized really by disease. It's characterized by dis-ease, from anxiety to ill feeling to, we might say the top is just being negative. It's the beginning of that kind of, you know, maybe sort of gossip. It's the beginning of, well, I don't like this, and you know, this isn't happening so well. And it's kind of that decision, because it is a decision. You have a decision about whether or not you're going to live in an up spiral or a down spiral. And it is your decision, nobody else's. You make the decision, and what we want to do during this time is increasingly show you how it is that you can make that decision more and more to stay in an upward spiral. Now there are people who believe that it's impossible to stay in the up spiral all the time. You can't be up, up, up all the time. That normality is being in this downward spiral. After all, you have to suffer some. In fact, we believe in suffering so much that we have sanctified it. And in sanctifying suffering, we believe in many ways that, that a certain amount of suffering is required down here before you can get up here. And if you get up here and you stay here for too long, you can start to think you've been there too long, and it's a sign that you've been there too long, and you have to go down here and spend a little more time in this down spiral. The down spiral starts with some kind of innocent negative thought, some kind of not liking this, not liking that. And then it goes into being a little more upset about this, and I don't like this in my life, and I don't like that in my life, and I wish this were different. It is the focus in one way or another on the negative until you get down here and you start to have gas. and then the gas moves into some other kind of stomach disorder, and from the stomach disorder you get into medication, and if you believe in that medication, then maybe in 3 or 4 days you can take a step back up. But for the most part, most lives are characterized by spending a little bit of time up here and quite a bit of time down here. That we're very used to, in our culture, the experiences of the down spiral. We will let ourselves experience some of the up spiral to a certain degree, but we're usually wavering between being someplace here and on down. We kind of waver up and down between the two of those. Now I want to give you what it will be worth your whole 20-week experience, your whole 20-session experience, if you get this. This single fact can make a life or death difference for you. This life or death difference can be so, this information can be so important that it can save your life, that it can cause you to change the way you live in such a way that you could save your life. Statistics show us that people who live in the down spiral more than they live in an up spiral have 2 times the probability, they're twice as likely to have a stroke or a heart attack. If you spend more time in the down spiral than you spend in the up spiral, you are twice as likely to have a stroke or a heart attack. There is no reason why you can't live all the time in an up spiral. You may not always be up at feeling good in an up spiral, but you can always be above 50. This is my 50 right here. And 50 goes up to 100. Doesn't necessarily stop at 100, it's open at the top, but we go from 50 to 100, or from 49 down to 0. The top of this up spiral is feeling on top of it. As I said, feeling good, feeling in charge. It is to some degree optimism, although it's more than optimism. The top of this is just feeling like you're on top of it, that you have things, that things are in place, that your life is rolling along, that you feel good. Now, it is possible to feel good even when everything isn't rolling along. When you experience loss and deep difficulty and pain in life, it's still possible to do it and to be in this upward spiral. You don't have to be in a downward spiral. The bottom of this downward spiral is despair, despondency, and depression. That's the bottom. That's 0. So later on, when I ask you some scores of where are you in an up, what's your up spiral score, we're going to call it, it's going to be a score someplace between despondency and depression, which is 0, and feeling good, which is going to be the 100. Feeling in charge, feeling on top of it, more or less feeling good. Let me repeat once more that statistic of the up and down spiral, and that is that if you spend more time in the down spiral than the up spiral, you are twice as likely to have a stroke or a heart attack. Isn't that staggering?